So I figure while this isn't actually supposed to be a showcase of any kind, really, it's really supposed to be, it's really supposed to be me thinking through what I'm gonna do for Marina affection. I am gonna be doing a Bella affection in the meanwhile. Otherwise, well, if you're listening to this, just know that, yeah, that mod is out. There's a video and everything out already on, me choosing to do things. I'm gonna skip the character history, by the way. And yeah, the mod is out, but I will be playing through it as well, just in case you're never gonna download it or whatever. But otherwise, yeah, this is me mainly brainstorming what to do. So this walkthrough as well, or playthrough as well, will also be going for Marina for as long as possible, because because obviously since I haven't done anything else on top of the Abella affection mod yet, then all I really have is the Abella affection, and therefore Marina will essentially, things will happen. That being said, I guess I should also say now, before you go too far, that to stop watching if you don't want to be spoiled on certain things. Pretty much a lot of things, because a lot of my playthroughs and this mod will assume that you've gone through the game yourself, multiple times. To completion is what I'm trying to say. But while I'm doing this, I might as well test other things out. I mean, again, it'll help me test things out. But what I really want to do is, again, brainstorm ideas for what I want to do with Marina's affection, which I do have some ideas, but it helps to also walk through and basically a lot of how I like to do things, development-wise, whether it's games, mods, anything, is I like to play the game myself and then figure out what I want to do. At least, and again, if nothing else helps me think through what I might want to do, which might be fun. Balance and how hard something might be, that will be another topic for later. But for now, I'll do what I do. But as I go through this, I just thought about what happens with the length of this video. I guess this video will be 30 minutes to an hour. We'll see. Because obviously I don't have... Well, I do have control over when I save. I could just sleep anytime I want. But... with the Bella affection, I don't usually, and that's the thing I went through. I guess this will also be behind the scenes of what I decided to do for a Bella affection. But I don't try to assume that you'll do everything day one morning. Of course, that is a possibility, and I will. That is something I think about to what the player might do. But at the same time, it's for someone who goes to day 2 morning or day 2 afternoon. You might want to. I do try to not go too far. I do try to make sure that, again, if someone wants to go to day 2 morning or day 2 even evening sometimes, that you are allowed to do so and still do my mods. But at the same time, that's why I usually put a disclaimer, whatever you want to call it, some message that says, yeah, you might want to have completed the game at least once before you jump into my mods. So at the same time, I do have that threshold as well, where you should know what you want to do. Also, I shouldn't have done this, but I'm using up an extra bullet, and I'm Levy, though, so it doesn't really matter as much. But this only uses 1 bullet, right? I'm going to check just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that the information I know is correct. That is not affected by the mod, that's just me knowing in general, but yeah, let's re-equip the knife and move on. But yeah, therefore, most of the time, if I am going to do something in a mod or change something, it will be with the realization that most people will be able to do things day 1 minimum. But if you wait for other stuff, if you're doing challenges or something like that, then you're probably doing something. I really got a bone saw? Really? I did. Okay. Yeah. Doing the mods, I assume you're going to try to do everything as quick as possible. Not maybe morning, but evening, because you're not always guaranteed to get certain things. Yeah. And by that, I mean you're not guaranteed to get into the city day 1 morning, unless you get... those methods become available to you by way of picking up loot. I want to say at least like 3/4 of the time you have a way into the city, but that's not, maybe it's even less for some people, because subjectively some people may never pick up small keys, Venushka, bolt cutters even, because I think you can get bolt cutters from boxes, but after that you really have to hope. Otherwise you're scraping through things that you probably didn't need to scrape through. You should stop like right here. Okay, good. Before I move on. I don't know why I ever take the risk there, because he stops there. Otherwise, he would block your way out, and you'd pretty much die. So, But yeah, as for Abella affection, yeah, again, I do try to, and with Marina affection, obviously, unless I allow you to recruit Marina earlier, but I think that breaks the balance of the game a bit too much for my liking. So therefore, you can do things during the night. What I was thinking about now that I'm saying this is what might happen if you maybe allowing you to increase Marina's affection. Really have a phobia here? Okay, well, hope I shouldn't die. It's not like I'm on master mode, but yeah, for Abella's affection, maybe allowing you to increase it before even recruiting Marina at all. Otherwise, because again, there are certain things. I mean, again, we're going through spoilers, so again, spoilers. But usually, I'm assuming that you know. But yeah, obviously, Marina has several ways to be. I mean, I guess I can still keep it vague because if you know, you know. But yeah, there's several ways to actually recruit her, quote unquote. And some of them are temporary, but at the same time, I mean, if I don't want it to make too much of a hassle, again, I could add things during the morning. I could add it only, when you can first recruit her. Otherwise, I mean, I'd have to think, really. Because otherwise, what would happen? What might happen is that I lock you out of affection, and I don't want to do that. That being said, I have thought about ways to. I mean, I'd have to add more switches and variables. Not much, because you can be somewhat efficient with how many variables and switches you use. But otherwise, I think I only need 2 to 3 switches and variables at most as we recruit Abella here. And that will allow me to kind of manipulate a lot of things. Of course, I have to make changes to maps as well. And obviously, if I keep working with the same maps, it can get a little, I guess, predictable. But I'm pretty sure I'll have to make. I'm obviously going to have to make a change to at least like 3 more maps, so that's going to increase the size of the mod, but it's not too insane. Also, I think this counts. Is this used with the thing? Actually, no, I can't run with this, can I? So actually, let's find out. So let's just equip this now. Yeah, so that's that. I mean, it does more melee damage, question mark, but that's only if I'm willing to fight. And yeah, I can't run like this, so yeah. But yeah, anywho, for a Marina's affection, I think I might have to add more than a few ways, but at the same time, I have to limit it. Do I have to limit it? I guess I'll find out. Again, it's something I'm thinking on, because I have yet to even recruit Marina, so maybe, again, I'll get better ideas as I move on. But it's not like I haven't put ideas down already. The only thing I really can't do as I'm playing right now is, take notes, unless I stop to do something, but So, Needles should chase me here, but what I really want to do is juke him a bit, so we'll see if I can do that. A lot of helpful items would be good as well, but that's gonna really depend on if I can get out. Is he really can't go through that way? Well, I guess I'm gonna push this a bit, but I need to push this back again. And then do this. And he should stop for a moment. If he chases me, so be it. But I should be able to sneak through. Anywho. But yeah, again, in me going through this doesn't assume that you'll just do this to Needles like day 1 morning. But I mean, I kind of assume that people may be able to like at least do this much. But at the same time, again, that's why I left Abella's affection gains kind of sparse for now. I'll have to tighten them up as more characters are added to the mod. But what I mean by that is that obviously I also want to give characters like the choice on what characters they want to recruit at what time. Especially if you want to do all of them, but you don't want to be forced to always do Abella first, or do Marina second or first. Things like that. I want to leave the methods open. So even things like having Abella in your party to get affection increases is not, something that I may want to loosen up on. But at the same time, you're likely going to, again, I assume that the player is able to like speed through these things for the most part. If not, again, for quality of, I guess, mod, I should kind of loosen that up. How I do that is basically, I would make it so that, you don't have to turn it on with Abella, you just have to come down and look at the machine. Of course, that means I need to edit the event, because otherwise, You might be able to farm resources, that would be a bug, or you might not even trigger it at all if I implement it incorrectly, and therefore affection doesn't increase at all, which then locks you out of doing the mod proper, but it would be steps I need to take as more characters come in, unless I'm going to force you to have a Bella in your party, which isn't the worst thing in the world gameplay-wise, but in terms of having fun-wise, I mean, maybe you don't want to come down the tunnel with a Bella, then, you know, you have to... I'd have to account for that if you want the mod increase. Because again, how it's modded in right now is that you have to have a Bella in your party when you turn on all telectroscopes right now, anyway. But yeah, it's not going to be... if I want to be more friendly, I would change that in the future. But for now, if it's just going to be Marina, again, as long as the party size isn't greater than 4, so that I'm not forcing you to increase certain affections, then yeah, I can leave it as is. But I might want to think about changing it in the future. As for non-contestants, as I noted in the on my itch.io page, I'm planning for that to be after all playable contestants. If I do a thing like that, but we'll see. I do want to do all playable contestants first, though. That is the plan. And of course, that'll take not a long time, but it really depends on my workflow. Because obviously, I'm not just working on this affection mod. I'm doing other things as well, so yeah. But yeah, thinking about how I want to implement or change a Bella affection when I implement a Bella Marina affection is going to affect the length of time it takes and the difficulty. Because if, again, I don't want to meddle too much in case Orange slash Miro ever does do his updates Termina, but at the same time, I also don't want to. I accidentally did not re-equip the wrench. Hopefully, I don't get punished too hard. I think I might. Yeah, that's gonna give us infections and bleeding. But yeah, if Miro or Orange updates things, that's why I don't want to add like specific maps or anything, because I don't want to accidentally again, one, make it harder on myself, and two, conflict with changes already happening. So it would behoove me not to do things like that. Anywho, let me just concentrate for a moment, because I need to make sure that these people go down. And I do have a bone saw, so I should be taking heads already. That way I don't have to backtrack. But, yeah. So anywho, on to more meat, or the bigger meat of the issues, or of the mods, for at least for Marina, in my mind. But for Marina, obviously a lot of them are going to be tied to the church, I guess, kind of as a preview of what I plan to do. But also, I want you running around, maybe something in the bookstore as well. I wanted to do a specific event. I want to do more events and or fights, maybe fights, but definitely more events, something that's more... you know, more than just simple dialogue additions here and there, which is currently what a Bella mod is mostly. But gameplay-wise, it does change it significantly, because obviously you need to keep a Bella with you for things. But in terms of adding, like, extra content, I have not done that much. Was that a Bremen chest plate? It was. So for Marina, I want to do more, I guess, add more variety to the mix, and therefore I would add more Bella things. I don't know if I didn't want to bog you down with too much information on the mod page and stuff like that, but yeah, I wanted to do more with the Bella, and that would probably be included with the Marina affection update. So with Marina's affection, you'll probably get more Bella stuff, which I'm also thinking of in my mind as well, and I have some ideas, but I haven't yet done through them yet. Again, usually the previous day and the last 48 hours have been me mostly looking out for people, you know, reporting bugs, crashes, things of that nature. So yeah, not too much in the way of actually doing more, but I mean, good to make sure. But as so far, no one's really reported anything. So I mean, I find that as a green light to like fix things now. Of course, I mean, it's easier to test things that are not currently huge in scope, but for the moment, do I want to do my accuracy? Anyway, so it's therefore more. It's more, you know, feasible for me to test things out, like do a whole run to test things out. At the same time, though, as the mod gets bigger, that's going to be less doable. which means which is much more likely to happen for me to take more time testing things out, because obviously as I add more things, I might want to go back and test other things that may not have been broken by maybe changes I've made, things like that. But for now, I messed that up. I might as well if I try to fight this. We'll see if I can. I did not re-equip the wrench, did I? Well, I guess with that, if I didn't re-equip the wrench, I'm just gonna guard and try to escape. But yeah, as I update more, it's gonna be harder for me to test. But at minimum, usually I try to do one run before I, even think about releasing something. But let me focus for a moment to I should really be load buffering to make sure I don't run into him again, but I knew where he was, so it's when I'm surrounded by 2 enemies. Anywho, what was I talking about? Let's see here. I think yeah, basically making more updates, and with Marina's update, to rewind for a bit and go back to my branching choice of what to talk about. Yeah, I was gonna add more stuff to Abella as well. So when I do both of those, I will probably... And again, at this point, for now, I'm going to assume you're going to... If you install the Affection... Or if you're playing with the Affection mod, I'm assuming you're going to grab both Abella and Marina, so therefore that's what my testing is mostly going to be about. Obviously, I also do... is that Fear? That was a Funger book, wasn't it? I also do runs where I don't, do one or the other, or runs where I don't do Abella, just to make sure I haven't broken, like, the original endings. But for the most part, that's usually not a concern, because the way I made the mod should be mostly friendly. It's not like I changed anything too deeply in the code, so yeah. Also, I didn't bone saw that other guy, did I? Well, it's fine for now. I also don't theoretically need to use this, because there's no way I'm going to have Hexen in time, unless I sleep, but I'm still not going to... There's not really much I'd pick up. Barring Funger. But even then, it's not going to really matter as much, unless they get a Small Things Amulet, but anywho. Talking about gameplay will also help me out, because then it'll help me think about the balance of my mod going forward as well. Overall, as I said in the mod page, and as I still want to do right now, the mod should make the game harder on overall. And you can argue that, because you're like, well, you could be like, and I've thought about it as well, with more party members, that means fights become easier because you can one-shot a lot more things. But at the same time, if you're trying to keep characters alive, keep them fed, keep their minds healthy, then I'd say it's still a bit harder, because this game is usually, as it is based, how I believe it, and I think how I've heard other people say it as well, something similar is that the game is really balanced for you to basically do things on your own. Was that a Book of Enlightenment, by the way? It was. I'll save that for when I get to the school. I'm gonna be that confident in myself. But yeah, as for the the balance of the game, again, I think it's still harder, because if you're trying to keep everyone alive, if you're just basically using characters, which is the more selfish way to play, which is counteractive to the mod, which is why I believe it's harder, then yes, it is. The game is easier if you don't really mind if Abella, Marina, or anyone else goes down. But if you're doing like A and you want to be more satisfied with your ending, if you're doing the Affection mod, then obviously you need to keep the characters alive. Otherwise, well, you can't experience the mod in its entirety, obviously. So yeah, that's... if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's why I'm at least making this recording, to kind of think out loud. That way, if anyone has anything to suggest or comment about or point out, then I can be like, that allows me to think about things, and we can both make the mod better, or at least, if nothing else, increase our collective knowledge. Because you can know something, but whether or not it's true or not, I mean, obviously some facts are as they are. Like, obviously attacking in this game can be like attack times 4, defense times 2. Something like that is obviously not debatable. That's just how it's coded in. But if something doesn't happen to be a fact and is instead more an opinion, then... Also, is that the first time I've actually picked up this lighter? I don't often get this. I don't know why. But I can't even remember. I think that's... I don't even remember what you use that for. Aside from maybe lighting candles and maybe making a... Because I thought also someone said Molotovs and also explosives were things that have to be more modded in, kind of. But... anywho. Speaking of, on the addition of items... And yes, I could have just jumped down. The reason why I don't jump down is because maybe that's going to be patched out. If it gets patched out, then there's no point practicing that because it's a bug. And I believe it's a bug anyway, so... but anywho, on the topic of items, might have to add more items and stuff later on. I definitely was looking at crafting recipes for, you know, more fun stuff in the mod, but... again, I'd have to, one, prototype test it myself to make sure I know what I'm doing. That's usually... Obviously, I can look at it, and some people can look at things and instantly, you know... implement them in and then test them, but usually for me, learning about it, I like to test it first, or I like to play with it first, then implement something, and then go through the whole phase of testing, deploying, documenting, things like that. At least that's how my development cycle goes. Which is the same thing what I'd have to do. For right now, I haven't added any weapons and stuff, which is why the size of the mod is still somewhat small. But when I start changing more files, obviously the mod will get bigger. And it'll conflict with more mods. But I'm pretty sure it conflicts with most content mods just by nature of... me changing a lot of the data file... the files in the data folder. Which is what some mods do, but... for me, it's important because if I change any images, that might conflict with censorship mods, unless I try to package them together, but that gets into a whole other mess of goulash that I don't want to deal with, so... Or would make it harder overall for everyone, really, so... Again, that's why I like to try to, you know, be efficient with my mod development. Or as much as I can, anyway. Hopefully I did not throw the... wrench. I did. This is gonna not be great then if I don't one-shot him. Which I don't. So, don't die. Okay. That's not great, but I also forgot to give Abella leather armor, but it's still somewhat fine, but I need to not do that again. Give her the leather armor, and then probably get some healing. A big vial would be great, but I probably don't. I have Alchemilla's, but no healing. So, I guess we'll do that. And we'll let him run up to me. Actually, I'll bait him here. I mean, I'm probably not going to trigger a Poe Genie, whatever, but let's just be sure. I'm commentating, so that's why I keep forgetting to re-equip my monkey wrench. Which again, I've seen people talk about consistency before. I'm not. So again, if I were to try, let's say even something like sprinting through this hallway, I'm not confident in because I might step in a bear trap. I'm not that consistent. Hand-eye coordination is by far not one of my strong suits. That said, I should heal Abella still, but let's see here. Yeah. Let's use one blue vial. That should allow her to survive most attacks. With 26 body/HP, she's not going to survive most, if not all attacks. So, anywho. But yeah, a lot of ideas to go through. At this point, I'm just going to be commentating most of the time, because there's not really much else to talk about until I get to Marina. That said, I will try to do as much as possible day one morning, because that's going to be what I kind of... I didn't re-equip my monkey wrench, did I? No, I did not. And I missed anyway, so... my goodness, man. Really? That does so much damage? Anywho. I shouldn't have needed to throw the monkey wrench, but I did. I don't know why. Anywho. Need to use another blue vial, by the way. If nothing else, at least this lets me in on whether or not... Because again, for now, you still don't need to really... Again, I'm not really gonna give you anything. Again, not something like I'm not gonna allow you to recruit Marina day one morning. Maybe temporarily, but I'd have to figure that out, so... Basically, I'd have to think about... I'm still thinking of a lot of things. But yeah, in terms of doing everything day one morning, like literally you can do everything day one morning. The big change though, however, was with the Abella mod alone, you can obviously defeat like 90% of the contestants, barring dependent on your character as well. If you're Marco, you can definitely do everything day one morning and get ending B. But day one morning? No, day two morning. I'm going crazy because yeah, August doesn't even appear unless you defeat him on the train, but at that point, you're going to get apprehended, so yeah. Anywho. That's another thing I need to think about. I was talking about something else, but while I'm thinking, while I have it fresh in my mind, being apprehended by characters, obviously, Abella is one of the characters that can apprehend you. I might want to just eventually phase that out altogether, because you can't, if you, obviously, like, if you leave Abella in Pre-Evil Bop, I'm gonna try to defeat him here. In Pre-Evil Bop, and I think the Speakeasy is another map, so theoretically you're safe. But say you want to defeat Karen in the Speakeasy as well with Abella not in your party, then that means that you're gonna get apprehended by Abella right now. But it's not so bad, because if you're gonna have Abella in your party the whole time anyway, it's very unlikely that you're gonna get apprehended because she's in your party. However, once I start adding more characters, that's gonna be a bit trickier. Because maybe someone wants to keep, like, Dawn, Marco, and Olivia in their party, therefore leaving Abella open, Tonica open if you're on the train, things like that. So that's why I'd have to think about this. But at that point, you're probably... I mean, right now, it wouldn't be that bad of a change. I just didn't decide to do it yet. Because one, again, right now you're probably just going to keep Abella in your party anyway, and two, it's not the worst thing in the world. It doesn't really affect the difficulty much, because if you're defeating contestants, you probably have a way to one-shot them anyway. But that's not true for every contestant, which is why I still allow you to keep Abella for now. Although having two party members, even just two party members, allows you to one-shot most contestants, if not all of them anyway, so... Again, me speaking out loud, just Gatling gun like this, is at least allowing me to think about what to do. I think I'll change that. Yeah, I think I'll change that. Again, it overall makes it easy, because some characters obviously like, some characters like Osa and Samari cast hurting. So if you can't defeat them on one turn, someone's probably going to get their limbs blown off, unless you have like Salmon Snake or everything on everyone, but you get what I mean. And if you're forced to lug around other characters, you might not have enough Salmon Snake arm guards to protect their limbs, so therefore you obviously get a limb blown off, which isn't great. So yeah, that being apprehended by characters is something I probably have to eventually phase out, but not right now. So, and it's not the worst thing in the world. And if I didn't already say it, it's yeah, again, I didn't want to implement that in and test it all, because every time I make even a small typo change, I need to obviously, redo everything, re-upload. I need to eat. Test things out, maybe, but yeah, I'd have to make a lot of changes, basically. This should actually go on Abella, because she needs the body more than I do. Although if I'm one-shotting enemies, this doesn't really... It's actually just damage mitigation, because I get hurt and then heal, but anywho. I also totally forgot that you can get another Leechmonger's Ring. However... I don't really mind that as much. I'm not really... Again, if nothing else, for the next 2-3 characters for the Affection mod, I'm not going to add more items, because if you really need to, you can kind of loot around and do things, and I don't really mind you doing that. Now, if that seems tedious to some people, again, I would argue that, again, if you're lugging a lot of characters around for the Affection mod eventually, that it's kind of what... I mean, I think it's somewhat warranted. But if it gets too tedious, I might consider changing it. But you'd really have to persuade me, or bring up a point that I haven't thought about. So, I mean, again, I'm open to being persuaded, because if it makes sense, it makes sense. But for now, I thought there was only one Leechmonger's Ring. That's wrong. You can buy more, but again, you'd have to go through a whole thing, because obviously I think they cost... I haven't really used that one, that shop, without saying much, if I can be vague about it, but hold on. I had to scratch my nose. Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but if you can persuade me otherwise to add like more, or like make a way to guarantee a Bremen chestplate, Bremen helmet, then you'd have to persuade me. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not really planning to add like items and weapons that would benefit the player with this mod for now, through like events or something. So yeah. Also, keeping in mind that if I were to do something like that, which I'm planning to add more items in Marina Affection anyway, but when I do that, I also have to make sure I don't really conflict with, might as well test my kiting skills. So, okay. Yeah, I have to make sure I don't conflict with. I'm really hoping, and again, if the developer for some reason is watching this video at this point in time, just know that I'm hoping that the developer Orange/Miro does not take the same slots that I'm using for my mod. Again, though, that's really asking for a lot. The developer can do whatever the developer can do whatever they want. But again, it would be great if if I didn't happen to pick a slot that conflicted. To that end, that's why I'm picking slots that are in between. Because how it seems, I mean, obviously, and I do it too, the developer spaced out spots in their variables, their switches. So, for while they're developing the game, which obviously makes more sense when you're developing something. Needles is right here, isn't he? I forgot about that. What I can do is defeat this Bobby here. The problem is that... Okay, hold on. Let me focus for a moment. Basically, yeah. So let me finish the thought while I pause here. So sorry, if the developer is still listening at this point. Okay, I'll say it here. So it's not like the developer used all variables 1 through 400. There are spaces in between. So say variables 1 through 15 are used, but like variables 16 and 17 ID number 16 and 17 are not used. But then suddenly there's another variable in 18 through 30, but then variables 31 through 40 are not used. Things like that. That's more for sorting purposes so that you're not having to look through, unless you keep documentation and are reading through documentation, but that's developer talk. Anywho, so that's why when I'm doing my mod, I'm inserting them in between, hoping that the developer is just adding more variables and switches when they add updates to the end of that. Because right now the variables and switches they're like thousands of them, whereas RPG Maker normally only has 2,000 variables and switches. You can obviously do more than that, but that obviously after a certain point, I mean, a couple thousand extra doesn't usually slow down the game. It does slow down development because when you're looking at certain things, then the game will take longer to load. But you get what I mean. Gameplay wise, it doesn't really affect. It really takes like a couple 10,000s of loops or variables to really make a noticeable slowdown. Not even that much. That's like minimum, by the way. So anywho, I need to get rid of this Bobby. I don't want to use this bear trap on Needles now, but if that's the case, I shouldn't be going towards this bookstore then. Please don't whack Levy. I mean, actually whack Levy. He can probably take one hit. But after that, we're going to be doing this a whole bunch. Unless I miss. If I miss, this could end really badly for me. But for now, I should be able to rev 3 the next time I can go for the torso, but... Okay, anyway, I should be home free. But yeah, hopefully, again, basically the end result is... actually, I think I can just rush. I'm not going to risk it, though, so we're going to do this. But yeah, the end result is basically I'm putting my variables and switches in between. And for anyone who is happening to be making mods that... add or change variables and switches. Hopefully I'm not conflicting with those either, but that's harder to do. That's why I wouldn't ever advertise that I am that my mod is without even checking that it's compatible with other mods. Anywho, so we need to avoid Needles right there, so guess I'm not going to the bookstore. But I can check these trash cans really quickly, because they can actually have these trash cans can actually have salmon snake runes in them. So I'm pretty sure I've seen that before. So I should really be checking though. Otherwise, red herbs or herbs at all would be great as well. But also currently in adrenaline mode. Luger pistol, I already have one. But yeah, as if we're talking about conflicting and things like that, I really hope I don't conflict with at least the official updates of the game by Orange/Miro. But we'll have to see when it happens. Ah! I hit my mic. Yeah, as for Marina affection, though, yeah, so for now, thinking about the church, thinking about the bookstore, things like that. Also, what I wanted to do was actually... Yeah, I guess I'll be fine. I guess this will be kind of the pilot test, so I won't... Basically, there won't be an end screen. But I will put an end screen, but it won't be the normal one. So for now, we'll see. But what I really want to do, at least in this video, if I don't end up dying and game overing, is reach Preval Bop. but really do the whole school. So I think I can. Yeah, I'm able to tighten my my time to complete the game with the Bella affection down to sub 2 hours, maybe sub 90 minutes, but I'd have to loot a lot less. Looting is mostly what's causing me to spend a lot more time. But again, especially even if I'm testing, I like to kind of play a normal game. Sometimes, obviously, you want to just get to stuff. So obviously, I do debug my with my mod here and there, which means I add ways for me to just test something immediately. But when I'm working with like the mod I want to maybe a mod version or update I want to release, I just play through the game once. Again, that's less feasible as if and when I frequently update or something like that. But for the most part, again, if I'm planning to release a big update, like say if I'm planning to release a Bella Affection, I usually do at least one run. And obviously more if I want to play with more characters, unless I'm just debugging something, which means I just switch characters on the fly. But that introduces a whole host of problems that I don't want to deal with. So that's why I don't normally put in like debug events and whatnot. Which there shouldn't be. Not that I used many, but there shouldn't be, basically. But anywho, I could try to fight Moonless now, but I think that would be a death sentence for me. So instead I'm going to go towards Pre-Evil Bop. But yeah, to continue talking about testing. Yeah, one big test at minimum, but I might do 2 or 3. It really depends. If I take a day off, obviously it might take a week and a half, 2 before Marina Affection, but it really depends on my work schedule, as I said. But if we're testing things out, I mean, I have to spend time testing. So whether that's 1 hour or 2 hours or more on a run anyway, that has to be as it is. Otherwise, you know, testing small things, that takes time as well. So obviously I have to, that takes time off of anything I may want to do. So yeah, let's actually open up the back alleys first. Ring of the Still Blood and Mushroom Stew. Does that also... I forgot if this prevents critical state, but... I mean, if anything else, I can just also... No, I want to open the other one anyway. I want to open the other sewer. Just in case something really funky comes up. I have a sewer winch, actually. I shouldn't need to worry about that. Okay, well, if you're going to do that... I think I could do this. Yeah, I'm confident enough to do that now. I don't cringe, but when I look at... I don't even want to look at my earlier gameplay footage. Because I've done a playthrough with every character plus more if I want to do different endings. At least for Karen, I think Olivia I did the same. But, yeah, it hurts now because back then I couldn't really kite. So, yeah. And which, context-wise, that does... I mean, there have been more videos coming out to try to help people, you know, kite better. But, you know, it's a whole thing. It just makes me kind of oof myself. I kind of think to myself, oof, when I look back at my footage and I end up not being able to kite things. I mean, I still mess up here and there, but for the most part. So, to kind of talk about it, because again, if you haven't looked at the mod yet, you wouldn't have known, or like read the documentations, you wouldn't have seen it or read it. But yeah, so here is one of the ways to increase Abella's affection. However, and also I find that interesting that that's based on time. But you can do an affection increase here, but if you're not Karen, you need Karen because you need to expose Abella's ties to the NLU. And then I allowed you to increase your thing here. Yeah, so we can use the lighter. Does it? I assume it eventually goes away, but you know, funny enough, I'm going to... Hold on. Yeah, so, I mean, I might be talking about something different now. But actually, yeah, for base game-wise, I actually like to Almers here. I mean, if you're confident, you don't need to save as often, obviously. But if you aren't, I mean, I would advise people to Funger there as well. And that's something I want to talk about too. But first off, let's increase my mind all the way. But, yeah, so that's... so I was talking about the Karen and the NLU. But first, yeah, I like to Almers here because I feel a bit more confident. Because if I was going to die, I was going to die anyway. So there's no point really... I mean, yeah, saving it is actually the best option. Again, I would... Wait, what? Wait! Did I put on the pistol? Oh my god, no, not like this, man. Please let that not have been... No, that was rifle ammo, right? Okay, good. I ran away. Yeah, I have a thing. I have the thing on. What? Oh, no. I'm supposed to equip the shotgun. No. Well, I mean, I'll usually end up with rifle ammo anyway, but that wasn't great. Unless he dies here. Yeah, he dies here. Okay. Well, that's not as bad anymore, but it's still pretty bad. Anywho, what I was talking about is, yeah, Almer's, using Almer's here. Yes, while there is eventually a shortcut to Donovan's, and that is more efficient. Again, one last time, I would advise beginners to put Funger there instead of Almer's. But I do Almer's so that it saves me like 30 seconds of real lifetime. Because while there is eventually I like to Almer's Donovan's and the train cabins minimum. But if you Almer's Donovan's, then you can theoretically reach Pre-Evil Bop moderately safely. But in the interest of real lifetime, I normally don't like... Oh, I messed that up. I might as well fight this thing then. I take extra damage from this? Do I die here? Wait. Ah, shoot. I need to actually get rid of heads. I think getting rid of heads is better for me here. Unless I miss. If I miss, I could die here. Anywho, so what I meant was, yeah, Funger... If I died here, it was because I didn't Funger. Or Abella dies, because I don't want Abella to die either. I'm theoretically doing an Abella run. Abella affection run. Anywho. I'm gonna make them both attack in case I miss. But, so what I wanted to say is that, I should heal, actually. Well, if I did Almer's, I should heal. But yeah, Almer's there in the interest of time, basically, is all I want to say. But of course, if I die, then I lose more time, which is not great. But again, this video is more for brainstorming anyway, so this is more a casual run. That said, I'm gonna heal myself first. And then I think I will White Vial this. Obviously. Oh, okay. I almost got... I almost failed again. To kite again. But yeah, that's why Almer's there, because it saves me a lot more real life time. Which then allows me to develop things faster, do things faster. Obviously, if I die, then I die, but that's a whole other issue. So, upgrade to Chainmail Dress. And, let's see here. So, yeah, a lot of... What is it? No, teratophobia. Teratophobia, really? Okay, anywho. Yeah, anywho. So, on the topic of saying the term Funger, yeah, maybe just call me lazy, but I could say, like, put a Fear and Hunger statue down, a save point down, I guess, if I don't want to use the word If you really hate the term Funger, I mean, yeah, I could just say save point. I guess I should, just to be sure, but, I mean, in terms of calling the names, I used to say that as well. You'll hear me say it. I can't, I did say it. But I think for one, I'll still call it Funger. Two, I call Termina at this point. If I didn't, just know that that's what I call. Or I say Funger 1, I think. How many shillings do I have, by the way? So, 79. I don't really... Funny enough, I don't grab a small thing. Actually, no, there is something. Yeah, okay, I have a Purifying Talisman. Maybe I'll get enough shillings. We'll find out. In the school, anyway. If nothing else, I think I save... yeah, I'd rather keep Book of Enlightenment. The only problem is that I have to make it back to Pre-Evil Bop. But I would only really need to worry about that if I happen to... Really? If I happen to run to a Stinger and Levy dies. But anywho. So, yeah, in terms of terms, I mean, forgive me if I keep calling it Funger and you don't like that. It's 2 syllables. So, unless you can give me a 1-syllable phrase that I can use. Or 2, even. I'll gladly change my wording. Anywho. So, yeah, about the NLU thing. Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. What? You can't unlock it from there? Really? I'm just gonna attack it then. But, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, NLU thing. Yeah, if you're not Karen, obviously you need to beat Karen. Otherwise, you need to wait for Karen. And the earliest Karen joins you is day 2 morning. Which also means you can't defeat... Was that Bettles, by the way? That was. And I might as well rates on the other character. But yeah. So yeah, you need to keep her alive. Otherwise, you can't get a Bella's affection to max, essentially. And then although after you do it, obviously you can defeat Karen. But if you are Karen, then you can, do things. Ah, my face. That said, yeah, because I'm Levy, I stopped to do these things. I forgot these lockers. I always forget these lockers specifically. I don't think, I think it's like something weird. 3? Just 3? I think there's 1, 2 here. Nope. Okay, yeah, well, that's 125 as well, and I think the one after this is 125. Oh my goodness, that's right. A ghost can appear here when you're running that way. Anywho, so yeah, but if you are Karen, then you can immediately do so. Obviously, though, that means you're not like, say, Marco, and can immediately defeat Caligura before day 2 morning, even. But anywho, so I guess one of the for Levy unfortunate things is that. Yeah, since Levy's perks aren't really that great to acquire anyway, because everyone starts with Executioner right now. What I mean by that is essentially, you can let him die during Caligura's, otherwise you have to go and find him. So you can basically do a time save, in my mind anyway. That being said, I mean, I'm sure there are reasons to do otherwise. But as for Abella and Marina affection, not really much else to talk about on that front. Again, I do have to think about events. That's a lot of what I have to think about, actually. So going through this playthrough as well will help me determine whether or not, events that I may have to tweak. Things like, characters disappearing, which I should have taken care of in the Abella mod. I extensively tested specifically that. Because if you didn't know, characters disappear pretty much day 3 evening. Some characters, I think, disappear day 3 morning as well, but or can disappear, and obviously some characters can just immediately die as well. I don't think you can break your leg there, right? Anywho, but yeah, some characters can disappear at points, but day 3 evening is usually the break point. Like everyone leaves their party, and so with the Abella mod, at least Abella obviously doesn't leave when you have enough affection. I think I should really just make it 5, but I mean, I made it 3 for a reason, just in case you want to hold out for whatever reason. That being said, also, I wasn't supposed to jump down. Yeah, that's why I like to explore the top of the school before going down. That way I can sacrifice every head immediately, but anywho. Yeah, as it pertains to affection mods, my affection mod in general, I normally want, your characters to not disappear. Because if you're going to Moonscorch, you're going to Moonscorch anyway. That has nothing to do with the characters in your party. And yeah. I mean, the whole point, lore-wise and gameplay-wise, is that they stay with you because, well, affection. So yeah. Yeah, for Marina, though, I think Marina has a bit more triggers, or ways that, like, she disappears or dies. So being able to control them, I mean, obviously, I'm still going to let her die if you don't defeat Needles, or don't pick her up before Needles as well. I think that's the other trigger point, but things like disappearing during day 3 evening is obviously one that I want to control. Also, I should have pulled my pistol out. I don't know why I didn't. But for Marina, I have to do things like that. And maybe change things here. I mean, the smallest things would be dialogue changes. But I obviously want to do more now that I'm a bit more confident. Question mark? Well, confident? But that again, that means I have to test more things. That I don't really mind, though, because, I mean, that's just the nature of making mods. Anywho. Also, when I'm making my mods, I assume you're not going to do any bugs or, take advantage of any bugs, but at the same time, I am aware of it as well. Ooh, Alchemilla 1. But, if someone does use them, I can't really control that. So, again, things I'm thinking, I mean, it doesn't affect the mod, but bugs I'm thinking of are things like jumping down from the mayor's house without Venushka into the basement. But there are other things as well. I think one of the main ones is party talk, which is why I have to be careful making events, because it's more than it's very likely that if I make events like that, you can skip things like that. I was thinking of making a certain event. Again, I'm being vague, because I don't want to spoil everything. But yeah, there is an event I wanted to make that was based on you traveling over it, but because party talk is a thing in this game, and using party talk and or bringing up the map. allows you to skip events of that nature, then I have to be very careful with that. If nothing else, I mean, I can think of a ways to kind of circumvent it, but really, if possible, I don't want to try doing something like that at all. So, yeah. Marina for now, though, I don't think I'm planning to do anything like that. I'm definitely going to go bigger, and then I'm going to do more Abella stuff. But, yeah, for Marina, because really the only... I think Marina I have to be more careful about. If I was doing Osa, for example, I could be a bit more lenient with what I plan to do. But because, again, Marina... Unless I allow you to recruit Marina, but I don't plan to do that during day one morning. Because of that, I don't really... Yeah, because of that, I need to be a bit more careful on what I want to allow you to, what I allow to have increase Marina's affection is what I'm trying to say. So, oh, that's right, and I can't Funger Sigil in Evil Bot because I used it. Anywho, so I do have to book an Enlightenment. But anyway, at the end of this run, I'm usually gonna have like 2 books of Enlightenment anyway. That's my average. If I could try to get more, but it really depends on the books I pick up. A lot of my recent runs have been really lucky, by the way. I've been getting like 2-3 Salmon Snake runes, which I don't feel is normal, but anywho. Yeah, so if nothing else, I guess, I'll figure it out, but again, this is at least allow me to brainstorm. Again, I don't say everything I have that I'm thinking of, but I am thinking of things that I could do. And yeah, I've just thought of something, so maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't. If nothing else, this playthrough sets up another, at least, saves that I can use to, test things out. So, if nothing else, I'm killing 2 birds with 1 stone by making this recording, essentially. That said, I accidentally used too much stamina. I think I can walk past this guy, right? No, never mind. Oh, nope, never mind, I can't. We need to run, because, none of us have any limb protection. So, yeah. And while we're in tension, I want to do that. And when these guys come up, I need to do this. But I also still need to save stamina so that I can run past. Okay, good. Yeah, and we should be nearing the video soon. Oh, that's right. Never mind. This is going to have a normal end screen because I forgot that I stopped this recording for a moment because of reasons. So, whoops. Not that it matters anyway. This video should come out in a timely manner. But again, if nothing else, even if no one cares about this video, it essentially allows me to set up a save. Granted with Levy, but I'm pretty sure I can eventually, set up something to allow me to debug different characters. But for now, yeah, we're going to do it like this. So, yeah, without further ado, if nothing else, if for whatever reason you like the video and you want to support this channel and me in general long term, then I would like you to, I would like you to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, just you watching and if you have any comments or if you want to, give me any words of encouragement, I would gladly appreciate it. Otherwise, yeah, that'll be the end of the video and I'll see you next time. And I'll still be working on the affection mod. So I'll see you later. Thank you for watching.